Tuesday night feels like Christmas Eve. Living between Wednesdays.
What's up, folks? I'm your host, Konrad, on Wednesday Night Reviews. And tonight we are joined once again by Dan Price, who's going to talk about, we're going to talk about their new Kickstarter comic, Bigfoot Knows Karate, Hinagon, which is the third of the series so far. Dan, thanks for coming on, man.
Konrad, thank you so much for having me, man. I do appreciate it. Love the hat.
Thank you kindly. Yeah, for the folks who've previously tuned in, they know a little bit about Bigfoot Knows Karate. We've talked about it before. But of course, for people maybe watching it live, or if they're watching in the future in the next 29 days,
Sure.
For those who've never seen your name, rather never heard your name, never seen your face, who is Dan Price?
My name is Dan Price. I am an indie comics creator. I've worked on such titles as Latex Avenger, Masters of the Obvious, Excelsior, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley for the Stan Lee Foundation, and my other creator-owned work that I'm currently doing right now, Bigfoot Knows Karate. I've also done work for Drew Edwards' Halloween Man, the Ringo-nominated Drew Edwards, and let's see what else. And covers for different people, blah, 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 it's been fun. And but no, these days focused on the Bigfoot Knows Karate thing. I've got my co-writer Casey Allen. We've been working on the first two books, which is Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a twist. I mean, that's just the best way to describe it. And where Bigfoot's going up against Kung Fu Thulu, or crossing paths with Chupacabra with a shotgun. I mean, the list goes on and on. So doing that. But right now, here on Kickstarter, we actually have a book called Bigfoot Knows Karate Hinagon, which is a one-shot comic that is set in the past in feudal Japan. And which has been a freaking blast to work on thus far. We're having a great time. Myself, Casey Allen, he has taken the helm on, as the lead writer on this book. I'm involved with a degree. Yeah, no, this is Casey's baby. This is Casey's thing. And which has been really awesome watching him and Adam Caswell, who's been our deluxe edition cover artist on the first two issues. Watching Adam take the helm as the artist, Casey take the lead writing position, and really roll with it. It's so wild, watching, hey, look, kids, here's my toys, go play in the sandbox with my toys, and they're just doing such a great job with it. So yeah, that's what's happening there.
That's super cool. I mean, one thing that I've always sort of wondered is, like, when I've interviewed people who've made, their fifth, their sixth issue, they've been going for quite some time. I always, once in a while, I think about, and it's for some people I've asked, I've been like, would you ever let someone else write the story? Would you ever let them run with it? I guess in your case, this has been your partner through this anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, what's it like to sort of to take the back seat and let Casey just do their thing?
Well, Casey's, he's been with me, almost from the beginning on this, I mean, like, he's, whether it was from, initially from an editor role to, moving over to the co-writer position, he's been so instrumental in the book in the first place, that, there are times when you have, with the main arc, we have, I knew where it's going. I knew where it was going when we got started together, where the end game was going to be for the end of book 5. Like, I've known that since, for a long time. And so when Casey goes in and he's writing, sometimes he's writing in a style that doesn't, we have to hit beats, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we're there, in the co-writing position, we're there to keep each other, in line with the story and that sort of thing. And he tells me when I'm doing it, and I'm telling him when he's, you know what I mean? And that's what we do. And it's a beautiful marriage in that regard, because we can really just, work work with each other, be honest and communicative with each other, and it works really well. So I'm real anal retentive as a writer. Like, and this comes from the fact that probably because I've written so many comedy comics that the beats, I'm digging hitting the joke on the beat, flipping the page, and then the next beat happens and you flip the page. And so I look at, when I'm saying to him, think about it like a Seinfeld scene. Okay.
Yeah.
In, hit your beat, get your joke or whatever. We don't do jokes, but we get to the morsel of the scene and get out, because we have so much that we need to cover, especially in a book like book 2. There was a lot of moving parts and pieces on that. What's really cool about Hinagon is that Casey, he's free, just go, and so Casey, and he writes, really well with me, like, because he's carrying the brunt of that too. I feel like, you know what I mean? He's doing such a good job with it. But so I trust him implicitly to go forth and do what he's doing now with Hinagon. Like I had, he showed me his plot, and like, okay, this is cool, and good synopsis, go to town. He wrote the script, and and I'm working, more in an editorial role, but we'll also have Chuck Pinu helping us with that as well. But for the so we've got some good talent there. But Chuck, he's incredible. He worked on book 2 for us on the editor situation as well. And so then, and then it's indie comics. So you have to like make allowances, and like let people, it's like jazz, you got to let them just riff from time to time. And so like we're so Casey's able to riff his way and Adam's able to riff his way. And, I work on the story, like more like on the ending and stuff like that. And I'll work on the dialogue, during the lettering process, because I'm just known for doing that. Like, hey, as I'm lettering, let's just go ahead and tweak this here and there and shorten it down. And, just again, and I think that comes back from the comedy background of, getting, get the point across quickly, let the pictures do the talking, that kind of thing. And so that's how we work. It's not the typical situation, but it is such a fulfilling, situation. You know what I mean? Because you get to watch, we get to watch these people just go to town with your characters and bring something new to the table. I mean, that's badass.
Yeah, it's super cool. I imagine it's very, especially because you're acting as editor on this. It must be a very interesting thing to see, especially as the details get fleshed out. And one of the things that I wanted to ask, so as this is a one shot, you've sent me a fair chunk of detail, so I sort of know what the book's about and what to sort of expect. But originally when we talked, Bigfoot Knows Karate was about Bigfoot, like you said, fighting all these sort of crazy monsters and kind of figuring out how Bigfoot's going to relate to the world, given he's this completely isolated character, and then he's interacting with society and everybody. To my understanding, and what I kind of dug about Hinagon was it's a prequel set a fair chunk of time too in the past. So I guess my question is and again, avoiding spoilers because the folks out there, they can get the book and see all the good stuff. But would you say that Hinagon sets up issue 1, or is it a sort of satellite living there that people can enjoy and will be able to draw lines to either in the first 2 issues or later on?
Definitely the latter. So it is, it's a prequel story, but it's not a, it's unlike Hinagon. What's up, D? How you doing, buddy? That's awesome. It's definitely a prequel story, but it's not an origin. Okay. I want to make that really clear to people. Like, no, you're not going to find out how Bigfoot knows karate in this issue. Okay. Like, I'll stop that question now. We'll get there. I promise. We got a lot of places to go. And that's the cool part about the character. It's like, it's this known entity in a pop culture, right? Like we all know about Bigfoot, but nobody knows Bigfoot. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's this thing.
It's just this. It's this concept, you know, that people, you know, try and wear costumes and run around in the, you know, hey, we got the proof. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, but if that's the case, there's so many different ways that you can go with this thing. And who's to say, you know, I mean, if you're the only one of your kind, you're the only one of your species. Sorry about the dog. But if you're the only one of your kind, you're the only one of your species. What's to say that this character hasn't lived just a long ass time? You know what I mean? And so there's legend, there's stories of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yetis, you know, Hinagon, you know, throughout. For, you know, it's not just the video that we saw in the 70s or the 50s or whatever it was. You know what I mean? There's been reports of this type of stuff for a long, long time, whether, you know, Mothman and whatever. So what's to say that it's not all the same creature? What's to say that this isn't, you know, sightings of, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of proposing, but, you know, but why don't we do that? You know, if they've, you know, had reports of these types of creatures for hundreds of years, what's to say that this isn't our guy?
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's so cool too, because like you know, if someone was writing like a comic based on a certain folklore, right, there's rules you got to set, especially if it's something that's well known, whether it's something as popular as vampires or fairies, or if you're going something very, very specific, you know, something in Japanese myth or Irish folklore, for instance, right? There's the more we know, the longer it's been around in detail, the sort of the rules and boundaries come up. Whereas, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, other than that one video clip that's like 8 seconds, or it's not even 8 seconds, and it's horrible quality, and then a couple of people who've made plaster molds of stuff in the mud, we know nothing. So you just get to run with it.
Yeah. Now, there's something cool that that I don't know that necessarily. Casey and I came up with this concept of the unreal, okay, which is this place that takes, you know, there's the real and the unreal, and there's this space in its own dimension, basically, that he will go to, and that we've shown that in issue 1 and issue 2. And what was my bloody point about this? I completely lost my train of thought. But this concept of the unreal is, you know, we have this space there. And one of the things that I was watching, you know, documentaries and stuff like that, there is, there was talking a couple of these things about astral projection. Oh, and, okay. You know, if you can't see Bigfoot, then where is he? Where does he go? And that was where my mind was going when, you know, I was like, well, where does he go?
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so we played this thing where he can phase in and out in the comic. Okay, but where does he go when he's not in the real world?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So there's this whole other world that we get to play with. And, you know, now Hinagon doesn't really touch into that at this, you know, but it's, you know, but my point is there's so many layers to the character and the storyline where we can take this. And so Hinagon, you know, this story here is just such a natural extension of where we're going, because if you think about how much time that the character's been around, I mean, we're showing you that, you know, that's part of the reason we're doing this, you know, there's so many different facets and stories that we can tell outside of the main storyline that will only enhance the main storyline, but will work as independent one-shot comics. So if you just want to see Monster of the Week, you know, Bigfoot versus a Mizuchi, you know, this water dragon, you get that. But if you're a reader of the comic, you're going to get something more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So there's that component. I mean, one thing that we've been pretty good about showing in our books is that we know how to put a twist into something. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And so that tradition continues. You know, that's all I'm saying. So anyway,
I love it. Well, then you know what? One important thing we're at the 15-minute mark already.
Okay.
One important thing I like to ask then is for the folks out there watching live or watching within the next 29 days who want to back the campaign. Um, one, I always like to ask again. It's your third one, but what currently what state is the comic in? And then if someone wanted just the one shot, if they'd never read anything before, they were like they wanted to hop on with Hinagon, what would be sort of the least they could pay and still get in? And then what's an option for all three issues, the one shot and then the first two of the main
Sure.
story? And
Okay,
I'll bring it
so-
up on screen here.
Oh, I'm okay. I was just pulling it up. So what's the situation with the book right now? Artwork's about 2/3 done, and so we're moving at a good pace. And so feel really confident that we're going to hit the timeline that we need to hit. We're hoping that everything will be finished up by the end of next month, and that
Nice.
in terms of the artwork, and then the lettering process will begin before the artwork is completely done. We'll get started on the lettering here really soon. And so that's the state it's in right now. And hey, no colorist because it's black and white. So woo.
Yeah. Makes it quick.
So it makes it a little bit faster. And but yeah, no, it's looking good and feeling good. So the lowest item that you can get in terms of would be the digital issue of Hinagon. For $4 will get you the PDF. Okay, so $4. I don't think that's a crazy dollar amount for we've done that's about what we charged for the color issues too. That's the exact same thing. So we're trying to make it affordable for people for sure.
I dig it. And yeah, people can get that and join the current 7 and enjoy.
Yep. And then if you scroll down, you wanted to see all 3 covers. Well, we've got a couple of things. If you scroll down a little bit, there's the regular edition, and then there is the digital catch-up. That's our deluxe edition right there.
Yeah, catch-up. Deluxe.
Yeah, that's our deluxe edition, which is the same story that we have in the regular edition, but we did a Draw This in Your Style contest this go around for black and white submissions, and we were going to do 5 pieces in the back of the book, but we received like 24 submissions, and they were all just gorgeous. So we extended it to 10, and so the winners of that are going to go into the book, and they're also getting a copy of the comic and T-shirt and some stuff like that as a thank you for doing what they did. But so there's the deluxe edition with the art gallery, and then also our director's commentary roundtable discussion video link that we always do in the back of the books and the deluxe editions.
Oh, that's cool.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's something that we thank you. I mean, it's something that we've been doing for the last couple of issues. People react to it really well, so it gives us something a little different. There is also, if you scroll down a little bit further, we do have sketch covers. You can get the 2-pack of blanks right there for a really reasonable price of only $15. Then also, if you scroll down, you can get the early bird. You were still available to get the early bird. You get the regular edition and the deluxe for only $20. Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah, that's a real good deal. So that was one of the early birds. And if you keep scrolling down, you can get the Dennis Valencia foil cover. That's going to be the deluxe foil cover. So it's going to be just gorgeous. $25 for that. But one more scroll down. Oh no, that's the catch up. You can get the catch up issues 1, 2, and Hinagon right there. And then what we also have, and that's all 3 covers right there for the low price of $50. But then one more down, and from that we have the early bird. You can get all 3 of the covers plus the sketch cover, $55, and that's good until tomorrow. So 2 really good early birds to get your that you can get your hands on.
One more day.
One more day to do
cool.
it. Yeah. Now we also have a really crazy tier at the very bottom. I'm going to get a visual aid real quick. If you go to the very bottom.
The very bottom?
Yeah. You can get the belt. So, this is the Bigfoot Knows Karate Fiend Club World Championship. And let me see. There you go. You can get a copy of the belt.
That's sick.
Yeah, so we'll get you a copy. We already sold one already. You can get a copy of the belt. I'll sign it for you, and we'll send you a mess of comic books to go with it. So
that is sick. What inspired that? Like, yeah, tell me that story, because I will say that to preface that question, for a long time now, when I started consuming other podcasters and people who do shows and talk comics, there's an extreme crossover of comic nerds and wrestling fans, or wrestling nerds. Let's be honest, we're all nerds here. And then I started noticing people were writing comics about wrestlers, and people who were creating comics were like huge fans. And I've just find this huge crossover. So yeah, what inspired the wrestling style belt?
Okay, so I am a wrestling fan. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we play games at our house. Okay, whether it be like cornhole, with the bean bags in the backyard, what I'm talking about. We have a shuffleboard table in the back. The belt is so rad. D wants to challenge me at a convention for it. He wants to get his own belt, and we're gonna go title for title.
Do it.
So anyway, we have the shuffleboard table in the garage. We play a game called Penny Can, inspired by the show Cougar Town. And what is the other game that we do? Darts. Okay. And so what happened was we were playing these games around the house, family, and I was saying to my wife, I said, we need a belt. Whoever's like the lead in the game, gets to carry the belt. And I actually designed a belt in Photoshop or Illustrator. And it was like, I'm Jewish, my wife's Cajun. So I had this Star of David with a fleur-de-lis,
nice.
and within it said Price Jordan Experience, which is my wife and my wife and I are Prices. The kids are Jordan because, stepchildren. And we were the Price Jordan Experience World Championship. And I made custom side plates for it and all this stuff, for each of the categories of games that we played. Anyway, so I designed this thing out. God, they wanted so much money to make this thing. You know what I mean? It was like the belt makers. I mean, we're talking $1,500 to get it to look just as choice as you want it to be. And but I found that online, like this one night I was on Instagram and this ad came up for belts, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So I had a belt made, and it was a reasonable price, and but it's absolutely cool as shit. And and because there was no way I was going to spend $1,500. My wife would never have allowed that. She's cool. She's really cool. I don't think she's that cool. And in terms of letting me do $1,500, but when I did this, she was like, all right, and she, and I remember her being like, this is kind of, nuts. You're doing this. And then it came in, and it's like this hard metal. I mean, it's like 6-7 pounds. And and she was like, okay, this is cool as shit. I'm like, thank you, because she gets it. It's good on the table, at the conventions. People want to get the photo with the belt and that sort of thing, and it's super cool, and so I take it with me, and when I fly to a convention, it's in my backpack, and I always get my bag taken to the side and during security, I mean, always. They're like, what's in the bag? Is it going to hurt me or anything? I'm like, no, it's just my championship belt. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And they take it out. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And then, yeah. So anyway, that's the story of the belt.
That's sick. That is, it came up in my last interview, just talking about like weird ways to differentiate yourself. Like my hat where it stands out. Because not only am I a huge dude, long hair and the red beard, but I've got a purple and green hat on. When it comes to being at cons, there's so much going on, so much chaos. You've got to do something weird and eye-catching to grab people. Your belt would be perfect for that. I think my favorite story so far is, and I don't know the name of the creator, but someone was telling me a story once where they're like, yeah, so this dude, he'd made his own comic. He needed attention, so he actually rented a car and two models to dress up as characters from the book. And he parked the car as his table, opened the trunk, and had all his books in it. And it was just crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, you got to come up with something. I had this from a previous conversation, but when I first got into comics, my first book was called Latex Avenger, and he had a sidekick, spermicidal foam lad, and together they repelled crime 99.9% of the time. And I used to give out these.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So you give those out at your table rather than, candy or something like that. Here you go, take the condom. And, how can you go wrong? Yeah, whatever you can do to market yourself and differentiate yourself, I'm all for it. I've had a cosplayer who dressed up as one of my characters when we were doing Masters of the Obvious. And she was amazing. She dressed up as the Visible Woman. You can't miss her. And so anyway, it was great. So, whatever you can do to kind of break through and, grab people's attention. I would love to get somebody to cosplay as Bigfoot. If any of y'all know Andre the Giant, please give him my number. All right, because I would love to do that.
Oh my God. Speaking of Hinagon, so for the folks watching or now or in the future who have maybe never heard of you or seen your Instagram, one, they should go follow you on Instagram. And Dan, it is at DanOmight139. Love that. Because you do something that I think is super cool regarding marketing, which is when you have campaigns go live, you go live on Instagram, you're joined by people. And if I'm not mistaken, all 3 times for Bigfoot Knows Karate now, you've done this and you get spectacularly close to, if not actually fully backed in that initial couple of hours. Now, this is in Canadian, so don't, but you've got 3,101 Canadian dollars out of 3,237. So I'm guessing you're going for 3,000 American, and you've got to be.
I'm going for 2,400 American, so I'm at $22.99 right now. So we're at $101 from funding at this moment in time. So not too shabby. I'm really happy with it. A lot of people came out and backed last night and really got behind us, and I'm so grateful for the Instagram community. Twitter too, not taking anything away from them, but the Instagram community has just been so good to this book. Whether it be, back in the campaign, sharing, liking, commenting, over 150 pieces of fan art at this point. It's like, holy hell, man. I'm glad the character, resonates with people, and because they're taking time out of their lives to, to draw the character, money out of their pocket to back the character, it's like, thank you, thank you. Cause I get it in this economy. Forget about it. So, my goodness. So I'm really thrilled with what's going on.
That's fabulous. Oh, go ahead.
Just the live streams, the live launches. It's so cool because we get to talk to other indie creators and we get to, hear what they're doing. And, people who aren't familiar with, with different creators, they get to see new folks and, that kind of thing, and get exposed to new projects, which is great. And we get to, communicate with people in the chat, which is awesome. And it's a really good time. It really is. I recommend it highly to people who are launching a comic book.
Yeah, and you know what? Since you've started doing that, and I've seen the sort of success that you've had with it, when people have come to me and they're like, Konrad, how should I do this? This is my first time, blah, blah. I'm like, honestly, check out what Dan Price does. And I've told them about going live with it and just really putting yourself out there, and they've had good feedback from it. So it's this cool thing that I hope you don't mind. I've sort of stolen from you, and I tell other people.
No, I stole it from somebody else. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
So no, seriously, I watched people like Jason Farrow from The Convictor and Dennis Valencia from Celestial Knight. Chris from Homebrew Comics, who does the book Crit. They're all those guys. I saw them doing it. I think they told me they grabbed it from somebody else. You know what I mean? And they, and whatever, You know, I mean, that's who cares? You know,
As long as it
it
works.
yields results. It yields results, and everybody, you know, I mean, and you refine it. You make it your own. You know, I mean, I do mine differently than they did theirs, and you know, and so on and so forth. But you know, I mean, like I'm really big into getting as many people into those things as humanly possible. You know, getting as many creators in, and you know, not doing like 10-minute shifts basically. You know, just so more people can get visibility to what's going on with the launch. But like I said, we're able to, you know, those creators come in, they get exposed to other people's audiences. Those people come in, those creators come in, we get exposed to their audience. It's very much a win-win. I mean, last night after I got done with the live, I think I had like, 10, 12 like, follows on my thing. You know, that's
Awesome.
a great little boost on, not on the, on my Instagram feed, as well as what's going on the campaign. Because I mean, we had, 46 backers last night or something like that. I think we're up to 60 right now. So,
yeah, you're sitting pretty at 60.
Yeah, so I mean, it's those live streams, those live launches. They're just so much fun. I mean, they really are. They're just so much fun.
That's sick. Like again, I love the success. I love that you're helping promote other people's work, helping spread eyes on everything. So yeah, you can sort of share the love, share the support, and help keep going on indie comics.
Yeah, well, the thing about indie comics, sorry to interrupt, but the thing about indie comics is, we're all just trying. We're all doing our thing. We're working hard and trying to get our IPs out there and get people seeing what we're doing. And, we're all in this together. I mean, that's the big way to look at it is that, if I look at it as competition, this stops being fun real fast.
Yeah.
Okay. This stops being fun real fast. And it is my wife and I made a deal when I got back into doing comics because I took a long break for a while. She said to me, do this as long as it's fun. Only do comics if it's fun. And I'm telling you what, I'm having a blast. Okay. Is it stressful some days? Sure. But would I want to be doing anything else, for an artistic outlet, in my free time? No, this is the thing. But so much of it is a mindset, man. I mean, it's if you sit there and get petty about it, all you're gonna, that's what you're gonna put into the universe. That's all you're gonna get back.
Yeah.
And and I get grumbly. I do. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. But but it's like I have to remind myself, this is okay. What's happening here is okay. We're making comics. Most important thing. Don't let the bullshit of the industry, get to you. Don't let, what somebody said on a podcast or a Twitter, bit, a little post, a tweet, if you will. And it's not even a tweet anymore. I think it's an X anyway. But
that sounds weird.
What are they going to call it? Yeah, it's ridiculous. But you understand my point. You know what I mean? Don't let that shit get to you. Just make comics, have, peace, love, and comics, man. Just have a good time. That's all that really matters.
Hell yeah. Actually, on that note, one thing I've seen that I absolutely love is Adrian Cleric, who does Trakovi. I've started noticing on their Instagram when people give really, really bad reviews to that comic, they actually plaster it up. They're like, hey, it's a confusing, weird, harsh comic. Not for everybody, but if you're into it, you're going to love it. And I think it's such a cool way to, in a way, let that kind of stuff just roll off your shoulder and just keep going.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And Adrian, he's part of Lesser Known Comics as well. So, rock on, Lesser Known. Love you. Love being a part of LKC, man. Love being a part of LKC.
I wanted to ask about that. So the last time we spoke, you were on your own. Well, not on your own. You're doing you. You've got your community that you help build and all the love you share. But since then, you've joined Lesser Known Comics.
Yeah.
So, you know what? As someone who's joined and is on the inside, what is Lesser Known Comics? Why'd you join?
Sure.
And what kind of crazy fun have you had while there?
In my own words, Lesser Known Comics is a collective of comic creators who happen to be the weirdest, wildest, funniest group of people. It's such an eclectic lineup of books. I love that. There's no chance of there being a shared universe in this crazy mess that is Lesser Known. And everybody is bringing their own love for the game in their own special way. I don't, whether it's a horror show by Jade Louder, or if it's Yuriko by David Lujan. I mean, just different books, what I mean? Everything's so different. I mean, they got manga and they got horror and there's samurai and all sorts of and Big Feet doing karate and just all sorts of stuff. There's a futuristic sci-fi thing where the guy's chasing a sex bot. I mean, how do you go wrong with Tank McGregor? I mean, that's just a cool book. If you haven't read Tank McGregor, read Tank McGregor. It's really cool. Tights, I mean, by Chris Wygand. I mean, that's just a cool book. Boop. What's that?
Tights is on the wall.
Oh yeah, right there. Oh, badass. So I couldn't see it past the cap. So there
past
you
the
go.
giant head.
So,
hair.
Yeah. But so I mean, how did it happen? I mean, I've known Mark for a while. Mark Bernal, the head honcho over there. We met at an Indie Comics Dispatch live stream one night. It was him and me and Doug Knight from Cross-Eyed Comics, who went on to join Lesser Known as well before I did. And that's how the three of us met one night, was doing this live stream with each other. And, and so, Mark and Doug, started, I mean, Mark was doing Lesser Known and I think Doug got involved really quickly afterwards, which has been amazing because he's done so many cool things. Excuse me, I'm burping over here. That's just terrible. Sorry, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, Doug's done so many cool books, and then whether it be Chiasm or super. Oh my God, I'm getting the name wrong. Super. I did it too. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry, Doug. Anyway, but yeah, Super Wicked White Cell Squadron. Boom.
There it is.
There it is. Anyway, there you go. That could be a clip that you can use on social media with tag Doug in that.
He'll love that.
Yeah, well, anything to screw with Doug. Anyway, so he's fantastic. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, Mark and I started hanging out at conventions. We had DM'd with each other, a bunch, and started hanging out at conventions with each other. And I just love what he was doing with Lesser Known. I mean, just the love of the art of the project. I mean, just cultivating, people, to make better comics, to make comics at all. I mean, he's so patient with everyone and just but allows the creator to do their own thing. And that's, that was a big attraction for me, is like, okay, you're going to leave us alone, but I get to be a part of this thing. That's really cool. I mean, that's really cool. And, but it's just a great group. I'm thoroughly excited that I get to be a part of something like that. Casey as well. They're just such a wild group of guys, and women, I mean, just everybody has just got something different going on. And how can you not love that?
Right. Like that's definitely one of the things that keeps me very curious and happy about Lesser Known Comics. Is just Mark gets it. I think he knows what he's doing when it came to building and assembling this team. He tries very hard to just let everyone in and be fair, but like, because of that, hey, the house is getting real big, but it's stuffed with such the coolest people ever. But we're not necessarily here to boost up Lesser Known. Well, it is good. Yeah. When it comes to Hinagon, which is of course your book that we're helping promote tonight for your Kickstarter, which people can go and back now. Punch in the name that's on screen, Google it, check it out on Kickstarter, back it. What I do want to ask is, for the folks tuning in again live now with us, or in the future in the next 29 days, can you describe what Hinagon is? If like I said, if someone's coming into this raw, what can they expect?
They can definitely expect the same kind of action, adventure, and psychological thriller that you would get in the main series. First of all, and there is some good action in this. The main creature that Bigfoot is up against in this book is a Mizuchi, a water dragon, and it is Casey wrote this incredible story. And then Adam just went crazy with the artwork on it. I mean, just look at the detail on that. I mean, This is, if you're an art lover, a comics art lover, and you love black and white books especially, there's so much detail in this thing. There's so much action happening in it. It's just beautiful. But it's got that monster of the week aspect that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
All right. And so if you're wanting to see a good, Bigfoot versus a water dragon, go to town. Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Just the amount of detail in the fur, like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Like,
scroll up a little bit though. If you look at his belt, there's a little bunny on his belt. That is a callback to the first couple of issues with the bunny. So, I mean, Adam nobody directed him to do that. That's just Adam. Wow. That's just Adam. Yeah. And hey, what's up, KT Comics? So it's got that battle that we were talking about. But like I mentioned before, there's an ending. All right, there's an ending. And that's where our little bit of psychological thriller will come into play. And so I'm not going to get into it, but I mean, if you're just looking for some good action, a good plot running through it, I think you're going to enjoy what's happening here. But it's just beautiful.
Just absolutely gnarly looking creature. I love it.
It's just awesome. So, I mean, yeah, I love these pages. Every time we get a page in, it is yes. KT Comics made a comment in the chat, but that the black and white suits it 100%, 100%. The thing about Adam. Let me grab something from my wall real quick.
Oh, please do. I love when you do this.
Yeah, I've probably shown you this before. I grab things from walls from time to time.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, so the artwork, is done by Adam Caswell, who did this piece right here that I've got wonderfully framed in my office. And this was a piece of fan art. Okay, this came to us as a piece of fan art from there you are. That from Adam. He mailed this to me and said, "Listen, love what you're doing with Bigfoot Knows Karate. I'd love to, send you." Yeah, that's amazing. And so, but I couldn't just accept it. It was too beautiful. It was too wonderful. And so I sent him money, and we put this as the deluxe edition cover for the book, for book 1. And so, I mean, it's just gorgeous. And so then he came on and he did the cover for book 2, the wraparound cover for book 2, and just amazing looking stuff. And so I was just absolutely blown away by what he was doing there. And so, in Casey's like, we got to get him on a comic. We've got to get him on a comic. I'm like, we got to. It's bigger than us. Let me see. I'm trying to find Adam's cover because I want to show you what I'm talking about for book 2. You were saying that I could show something.
Yeah, there should be a present mode in there for you.
Yes. Okay. Let me pull this up real quick because it's so cool. And present, share screen. What are you doing to me here with all this stuff? Sorry. Okay. Share. Can you see that?
Not yet, but we can. Oh my goodness.
Yes, this was a wraparound cover for the for book 2, and isn't that not beautiful?
That's insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And let me scroll down a little bit.
Is it digital or is it?
That's pen and ink, baby. Oh, I mean, look at this.
Jeez.
Look at the detail in that in the gi.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That is what that the again the fur, like the markings
Mm-hmm.
on the swords, like
Yeah. I mean, just
jeez.
the slobber.
Yeah, like it almost feels like
Yeah.
one of those super overdone '90s image books that just has like insane amounts of detail thrown in.
I would, it crosses between that. I stopped my share right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
you're
it crosses between that and like a Stephen Platt type situation almost, but like also more like Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean? Like that's good. There's something different going on in Adam's work, and I'm just a huge fan of it. So it was like a no brainer that he come on and do this book. Black and white. It had to be black and white. I mean, there's more pages I think in the Kickstarter, but if you want to go back to them at all, but it's just beautiful, mind blowing stuff. I hope that people jump on board and get in on this, because you're seeing the very first interior work by this guy.
That's incredible. What did it take convincing to get him to do it? Or was he like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm in, let me do the full book?
I don't think there was any convincing needed. He was, I mean, and Adam just, when he came around, it was like, he was just like, I'm here. Let's make comics. I want to do covers and do things. And we were like, hell yeah, let's do this. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he does great work. And he's like, he said to me in a DM, I'm team BFKK. I said, okay, you're team BFKK. Come on. You're in.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, we're doing this now. I'm very positive we'll have him doing the cover for book 3, the deluxe cover for book 3, 4, and 5. I see no reason why this won't keep going. And then we'll get to do some other things in the future. I think. I mean, it's awesome. It's really cool. I mean, he's never, like I said, this is his first interiors. It's really cool working with somebody and getting to help guide them to a degree and let them go loose and do what they want to do at the same time. And it's like, it's a really cool experience.
That's awesome. And KT Comics came back again with another comment. Love the concept. I just think it's so cool that Bigfoot is just a raw power creature, almost barbarian meets monk. And that is very true.
Yeah, I mean, KT in the first couple of issues, I mean, there's a lot of philosophy going on in the comic. There's a lot of his inner monologue and his thought. He's so much more than, he is raw power. He for sure. He's two-fisted, two-footed, too furious, man. I mean, he's great, but he. Like that, I just came up with that to a degree. I had some of it before, but the furious part was new. But there's just so much. He's just high functioning, so smart, is so intense. It is a very cool character to work with and to write, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. And earlier you mentioned, or you'd said, like, it's bigger than you, and I found that was really interesting, because it feels like that, Dan, you yourself have come into this creature, this character. You're having your time with it, but it feels like somehow there should be more before, and there will be more to come after. But it's I don't know, it's got a life to it, I think, just because of the way you're treating it, the way you're letting people do their thing and join in, and it's so unique.
I thank you, first of all. I mean, because it's really cool. Like, I mean, look, I'm used to working in group environments. Okay. Like, I'm used to, I work in marketing and advertising as a creative director, and everybody's got input on what we're doing. I worked in theater for a lot of years, producing theater with my friends. And that's very much a group, thing. That's so Sorry.
Hello, you reached Dan Price.
Yeah. Hey, it's Mariah.
I got it.
Okay.
Hi, Mariah.
Hi, Mariah. That's hilarious. Where were we? I'm sorry.
Basically, like how Bigfoot is sort of bigger than
bigger. Yeah. That's that's the beauty of like these side stories. If this one goes well, then we'll get to do more, and get to show different, moments in time of this character and how he has, how he's moving forward and, where he's going. There's so many different ways we can go with it. I had 5 issues figured out, and Casey says to me, how about we put a little epilogue on the end of book 5 that'll open us right up into the next chapter, into the next arc. And I'm like, I'll draw books 1 through 5. We got to get somebody for the next arc after that because I'm tired, and so we've got plans where it's going to go after that. I mean, I know I'm pretty solid. We've got, the next couple of arcs after this one figured out and where we're going. And so there's a lot of room to move. So it's going to be really cool. And yeah, eventually we'll find out how he knows karate,
I hope not. Or maybe that'll be it. That'll be the end where you finish writing it and go, I'm done with Bigfoot.
And we're good.
We're good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the least of my concern. You know what I mean? I love characters that I love, and I loved Wolverine when you didn't know a damn thing about Wolverine. The moment Origin happened, to me, the character was just done. It was done because it was nothing that, nothing to what the headcanon was at all. Like Weapon X was cool. Okay, Weapon X was a great insight into the character with those Marvel Comics Present stories that Barry Windsor Smith was doing. Just amazing stuff. But when they did Origin, I was done. I was like, that just ruined this character, to me. That's just my opinion.
No,
but it's just I just did not enjoy it. And now he's got like 18 kids running around all using the same name and stuff like that. I can't even keep up,
Yep.
Wolverine's a slut. He's got all these kids running around, just everywhere. So anyway, but what I loved about Wolverine was that you didn't know anything about him, and I think that's something that we've definitely incorporated into this book. We're gonna find out. We're gonna peel back the onion, and we're gonna learn more in the right time, in the right setting, not for no other reason than because it serves the story. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing.
KT actually agrees big time. I think also because Bigfoot is a legend and everyone knows about it, that the mystery about him is so unique that the sky is the limit and it's a fresh take. Agreed.
KT, you get it.
Yeah, he gets it. He's in.
You get it. Yeah.
Yeah. KT,
that's awesome.
By the way, on the screen as soon as I find it now, feel free, punch that into Kickstarter. Back the book. You can get just the one shot for $4, or you can go crazy and you can get yourself a world championship belt for $450, along with a whole bunch of comics, and help push this to complete it already. Then I guess Dan, we've been at it. We're 5 minutes remaining in our hour.
Cool.
So I'll wrap it up sort of a similar way I always do. I guess for yourself, because you've got so much cool stuff. You've already taken something off the wall. Maybe I can get you to do it again. One of the things that I like to ask people is, because, as comic nerds, we often collect things. We collect comics. We collect art and drawings. You yourself have a number of posters and images and comic covers up there. What, for you, would you say is the biggest thing in your collection? Not the most expensive, maybe not the most rare, but what's that one thing that when you see it, you're like, I get to own that, I get to see that, it is mine? What is that thing? Oh boy, right, here we go.
This is the thing that I don't know if it's like, I wouldn't say it's the one I'm going to show because it is the thing that is the most perplexing that I've ever received. And because I have a whole shelf of stuff that people have given me over the years.
Yeah.
Whether it's just funny little toys or people from conventions bring me something, and I've received like minifigs of Latex Avenger and all sorts of weird stuff, right? And so, but the thing that really got me, that always makes me chuckle when I see it, are these. Okay, these are high heels that somebody decoupaged the characters from my comic Masters of the Obvious onto. Okay, you can see. Right? Isn't that? Yeah, they're. I don't know why high heels. I couldn't tell you the story behind that, but they were. Yeah, let me get the other one because they're really cool. But they just sit on my shelf, and it was funny when I brought them home. My wife was telling. We had a party not long after that. My wife was telling, "Yeah, Dan got these high heels with the Masters of the Obvious," and all the ladies were like, "Go get them." And I said, "Okay." They're all trying to put them in. They were like size 7 or something like that. And they were too small for all my friends to put on, but they were really cool. And they were done by Chrysalis Designs. It's on the bottom.
Chrysalis Designs, that's sick.
Yeah. So yes, these are the oddest thing that I've ever received, and I love them. I think they're absolutely hilarious, and so I keep them on the shelf with all the other stuff. So.
I'm super curious now if they're still up. Oh, Chrysalis Designs. I don't think this is the same thing because this is all interior design work, but that is sick. Like,
yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, I've had them for a decade probably or something like that. I mean that somebody. Again. Somebody took the time out of their life to do this. I mean, are you crazy? That's amazing. I'm absolutely blown away by that. And, like the what else? I mean, here, let me show you something else. I never did this on time, but like, this is, Andy Bloor did this for me. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, what else? I saw Jevin Loop in Baltimore Comic-Con. And he brought me these, which were, sketches from his that were concept art for his cover for Bigfoot Knows Karate Part 2. And so he brought me those. I mean, it's just all sorts of stuff. Jevin did this as well. Did this piece right there. This was done with Sharpie markers. Can you believe that? So there's so many cool things. Look at this right here. I got so much cool stuff around here. Look at this. Dennis Valencia did this piece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I got to get that framed. It's in my I to get framed pile.
I love that you
have got so many things that, I know. I mean,
you're going to need more wall space.
I got this recently, which was a blown up cover from a book I did years ago from Latex Avenger. The artist on this book, he actually passed about 6 years ago. He was a very good friend of mine.
Oh. And
his relatives reached out to me recently and said, "We have this piece. Would you like it?" And I said, "Absolutely." So just, yeah.
Wild. You have you have such a rich history in comics, Dan, that it's wild. And the way that you've been able to create things that just make people enjoy, you make them have fun, you make them want to be creative, that's something very unique. So Dan, always please keep doing you, keep creating no matter what form that takes. You are a heck of a gem in whatever community you're in.
Thank you so much, man. You do not know how much that makes me, how that makes me feel, and it's humbling as shit. I gotta be honest with you. When people, it's just. Anyway, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you know what? We'll end the interview with one last simple question. Help spread the love. Dan, who do you think I should have on next?
Jerry Cooley.
Jerry, G-E or J-E? GERRYCOLLEY 79 on Instagram. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
79. Awesome. And Actual Dracula, good evening.
Hey, what's up, Actual Dracula? How are you? Yeah, his
And-
work is amazing. He does a book called End of Days, and you got to check it out. It's like it takes place in Jack the Ripper days. It's like Jack the Ripper meets Supernatural. It's very
so
cool
cool
stuff. Thank you, KT Comics, for watching. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. Awesome. I will find Jerry and I'll see if I can't get him on.
Outstanding.
Perfect. Well then, Dan,
Okay.
that is our hour. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show tonight, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Anytime and every time. And for the folks out there, whether you're watching live with us right now or in the next 29 days, again, go check out Bigfoot Knows Karate Hinagon on Kickstarter. Back it now. You can get it for as little as $4, or if you want to go crazy, $4.50 will get you the World Championship belt,
Get you
all the
scrap.
covers, all the comics, and you can go crazy. Oh yeah, here we go. You get to see it one last time.
There you go. Get
I
yourself one of
love
these
it.
beauties. All right. Cool.
Awesome. And remember, comment down below what you think of Dan, and subscribe for more. And we'll see you next time. Adios.
Take it easy. Bye.
Golden age to present, digest to oversize. Never miss new comic day. Yeah, no surprise. So where's my no prize? Check the letter columns. Can't find issue 2? Collector problems, cliffhangers, mysteries. You